entering an order onto the system from a catalogue collection. Now again, for training and demonstration purposes, all names and addresses are fictitious. However, catalogue codes, descriptions and prices are current to the relevant catalogue company. Okay, so on our home dashboard screen for Oriflame, you can see that we currently have one order received this week so far, totaling £36.95. So to enter in the orders that we received from the previous collection that we noted, if I go back to my drops and collections and then say collections noted for order, that will bring up all the orders that I haven't yet processed from my drop collections. I then take each one and form the order for it. So I select it and then go to the bottom and say form order for selected drop. Now I can instantly see here that it isn't an existing customer. So once I do this, the system will take me to the customer part of the system in order to allow me to set up their details. So I say form order for selected drop, and I then set up the details that the customer has given me so far. So the order, they've put Joe Jones, so I assume, rightly or wrongly, it might be a Mrs. First name Joe, last name Jones, and then we've got the preferred name. If it's somebody that we know, or it's pretty obvious that they're happy to be called Joe, we'd leave it at Joe, or we might be a little bit more formal and say at this point we'll refer to her when we speak to her as Mrs. Jones. The system already knows their house number and their own name because we've generated this from the drop, but what it doesn't know is the finer details of the postcode, telephone number, etc. So I can go through and fill this out. Now, as I said earlier, all names and addresses are totally fictitious. I'm making these up. Landline, it was a mobile number they gave, so 7946. In fact, that's my mobile number. Email address if they gave it. The source of the customer, well, the system knows that it came from a drop. I have the option to set up customers separately in the system, and it might be that they're from a Facebook or from an acquaintance or a recommendation. The system now knows what the first order reference was, so it's a result of them having Catalogue 14. That's all the details I enter in here. I click Continue Save, and then the system will take me straight away to create an order for Mrs. Joe Jones. So it's the order number, it takes the next sequential order number, the order date on the relevant drop that we made for that. So I now need to enter in the items, so we can say the item for the order. We click on that, and the first item on their list was page 29. The item was a concealer, which is 30615. I'm hitting the tab key to move to the next box. The system will tell me to please check the price of this item as it may have changed for this catalogue. Certainly with Oriflame, we will have the full list price showing, which is £7 there, but generally customers are ordering from the offer price, so I just need to overtype that with the price that's in the catalogue. So I change that to £3.95 and we get a total value of £3.95. Quantity ordered 1. I then click Save Finished, and that item is now added into there. If I've made a mistake and actually, it was 2 that she wanted, I simply double click on that line and go and change the quantity ordered to the relevant amount, and that will update the price from within there. I'll just put this back to 1 because on my example it was 1. I then need to add any other items, so again we click Add New Item for Order, the page number, the item code, please check the price. It's just making sure that we need to go and check the price. But in fact, it wasn't on offer in this catalogue, and it is in fact remaining at the £5.95, and she only wanted one of those. Add a new item, page number 93, item code, please check the price. It's the Elio conditioner, and that was on offer, and that was at £6.95. So there are all the items added in, and I can check that my total matches the customer's order total. I then have the option to store a digital copy of the order, which means I don't then actually have to save the various pieces of paper after a given period. So I could just say import the image. Now I tend to take a photograph of the order with my phone, upload it onto my PC, and then I can just import that in. So I click on that, and then it gets uploaded into the system. So that's there forever and a day for reference purposes. If I want to view that in a bigger screen, I simply just click on it. It takes a little while because the image is quite detailed, so the system has to load that in, and then it'll go to a larger page where we can actually see greater detail of that. So there we are, page 29, the concealer, the earrings, the conditioner. So go back to the order, we go back to there. Now I might also decide to order some samples for her that's going to be in the next catalogue. Again, it's entirely up to yourselves here, and they haven't actually asked for them. And you could still add these samples at a later date, but I tend to do it as I'm going along. So I will have already looked through the next catalogue, catalogue 15, and decided sort of what items that I think might appeal and the samples I'm going to get. So I'm going to get some of the even out samples. So I add a new item for the order. Page number I leave blank, and then the item code I put in the sample code that Oriflame have given me, so 34422, and it tells me it's the even out preventing day cream sample. Now it's put the price in 20p. As the customer hasn't asked for it, I'm giving it for free, so I just put a 0 price in at that, click save finished, and then it goes into my order. So A, I know to order it from HQ, and B, the customer can see that they've got that. So if they're using the sample in the order, what was that was given? Oh yeah, it was that, and that was the code as well. The system will automatically make a note as well of the samples that have been given to the customer from various orders, so it automatically enters that in. So again, if I enter a perfume sample, page number I leave blank, the item code 34294, it's the Eclat Mon perfume sample. I'm not going to charge them, so I put it to 0, click save finished. There's the item within there, also added up into the sample listing. And then the third sample that I'm going to give them is 31100, which is the Sophie for her, and we'll leave it at 0. Now if a customer has actually asked for various samples and you think, well actually I can get away with charging them, just leave it at the 20p, but entirely up to yourself on that. And it also adds it to the table to there. Then once we've finished processing that order, we simply click save finished, and you'll notice now if I refresh this screen by saying collections noted for order, that one is now removed and we've just got the other 3 to process. If I go back and say finished, you'll now see that that order is appearing on my weekly list. So now the orders I've gained so far are up to 5380. I can view that order or amend it simply by double clicking on it, and it takes me to that screen, and this is where I can either add more items or double click on something to remove the quantity or change the price. Just click save finished. Just going back there, all this other ready for delivery, delivery date and all of that, and printing bag labels, delivery notes, that will be covered on one of the future videos where we're actually dispatching the goods to the customer. So for now we just click finish save. We've also got, if I click the orders page, we've got orders for this week, i.e. the orders that we've gained this week that we haven't actually processed to HQ yet, orders that we're waiting for goods. These are the same two orders because I haven't actually processed them yet. Any orders that are ready for delivery, so we've got one here that's ready to go. Any back orders, unavailable orders and completed orders. So we can look at all our orders from here and we can double click on them to adjust them. Now I'm just going to switch to the Viva site so we can see how Viva orders can be put in. So if I go to my drops and collections and say collections noted for order, we can see here that we've got one from 44 Musters Road and we've got one for 40 Musters Road, which was Paul. Again, I'm going to highlight that one and say form order for selected drop. Now because Paul already exists as a customer on my system, it doesn't take me to the customer area, so I don't need to set all these details up again. I can just go and add the items into there. If I noticed when I'm putting his details in that he's actually given some additional information and I want to update his details, I can simply say amend customer details and that will take me to his details where I can alter it and then return back to this order. So we'll add an item for this order. So it was page number 13, the item code was 10006. Please check the price of this item may have changed for this catalogue. So it's the traditional window cleaner. The item price was £5. Well, yeah, it stayed at £5. So we leave it at that. And the other thing he wanted was some leather cleaner, and that was on page 14 and 10036. Type in the leather cleaner, and it was £6. Okay, finished. If an item hasn't been put onto the system, it might be that Viva have released new items, new internet items that we haven't actually yet put onto our system that's automatically updating yours. It could be that when you come to put in the item, and I'm just going to make a code up here, I'm just going to say RJS 003, the system will say it can't find it, but it will still let you put it onto the system. So we could put in our own description, so it could be a special duvet cover for Christmas. What was the item price? It was £22. I can either just click that, say finish, job done, or I can actually add it to my library so that it is there for the next time another customer uses it. So we could say add this item to the library. I just then need to check that the code is there. Is there a sample code? Certainly for Viva there isn't. For Oriflame there might be a sample code. A product type, we could pick the relevant product type if necessary. Change the description and adjust the price. That's now added to the library. So I then click Save Finished and that's added into my order. Just going to remove that to show you how that can be loaded again. So I just double clicked on it. I'm saying delete. I'm not deleting the library item. I'm only deleting this item from the order. So you can see that's now gone. Now if I was to go and put that item in again, you can see now please check the item as it may have been priced. So it's now located that item in the library for me to use. So I can just enter that in. Just going to remove that because that actually isn't on his order, even though it is a fictitious order. So we just delete that from there. Now if I click Save Finish, the system will say you've not imported an image of Paul's order. You might say, okay, well I don't really need to, I'm not bothered. Or, yeah, I'm going to go back and import it. It's up to you. As I've got it, I'm going to say, yep, I'm going to import it. So I click on it, bring it in it goes. Again, to view it, just double click on it. It takes a little while because images are quite large in size and the system has to convert these to display it. So it does take a few moments, but then you can see there the image loaded of the order. Go back to the order, click Save Finished, and then go back to our list, click Finished, and then we can see we've got the orders stacked up in there. I just switch that back to Oriflame. The other thing I want to show you is the effect that's had on the round. So we've got Mrs. Jones on School Lane. If I go to the rounds and we look at School Lane, we can now see I've got 3 customers and number of orders to date is 6. So if I double click on that, I can see this was the drop that we made. We delivered 18 catalogues and we got 12 back so far. 4 were read. I've now had 3 orders, totaling 1685 from there. So if we actually look at our order from here, so if we look at our customers, so if we look at number 9, double click on that, we can then see that that was an Oriflame order from there. We can also see the samples that were given with the order as well. Again, I can double click on that to look at the order. Obviously it hasn't been delivered or paid for yet. But as you can see, as we're going through making a note against our collections, what's been ordered, what's been returned, the system's now beginning to be able to pull data together to work out values of various roads, rounds and drops. And that's basically all there is to entering an order from a catalogue drop.